Many people go to the National looking for big cards, rare wax, and once in a lifetime purchases. But I'm going with a different plan. I want to find the cards other people are leaving behind. Over the next several days, breakers will be opening huge amounts of brand new product. They'll pull the autographs, the numbered cards, the case hits, and the top rookies. And then move the lower end cards into dealer value boxes, bulk lots, and bargain inventory. That creates an opportunity for low end resellers who know what products, players, inserts, and parallels to look for. But there's also a second opportunity: the National Redemption Program. Silver packs can change the economics of buying wax, but only if we understand the real value of the packs, the underlying product, and the downside if the box does not deliver a major hit. In this episode, I'm building two operational plans for the National. First, what new release cards to target in dealer value boxes. And second, how low-end resellers should evaluate redemption opportunities without turning the trip into a high-risk wax gamble. Welcome to my so-called card life, the podcast where we talk about what actually happens when you try to run a real card business, the decisions, adjustments, and lessons that don't show up in highlight reels. Welcome back to my so-called card life, everyone. We are just a few short days from the opening of the National in Chicago, Illinois. So I thought it'd be prudent to spend one more episode about prepping for the National this year. So this episode is built around preparation for the National, but it's not really about chasing grails or trying to make one massive purchase. It's about identifying inventory opportunities that fit the way I actually operate as a low-end reseller. The first operational plan focuses on cards that have already been opened by someone else. And the second focuses on deciding whether it makes sense for me to become the opener. Those are two very different strategies, but both are created by the same thing: the tremendous amount of new product activity surrounding the National. Breakers, shops, distributors, manufacturers, dealers, and collectors will all be opening wax. The high-end cards will receive most of the attention. My job is to understand what happens to everything else. If you enjoy this kind of hobby and reseller conversation, check out the Dollar Box live every other Wednesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central. We go live with JC3 Cards and Collectibles in the Dollar Box to talk cards, reselling, eBay, whatnot, live selling, inventory strategy, and whatever chaos the hobby gives us that week. It is part hobby talk, part reseller discussion, part live reaction to what is actually happening in the card market. You can catch the Dollar Box live every other Wednesday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time. Let's start with the first operational plan: targeting new product inventory that begins flowing into dealer value boxes after breakers open it. This is one of the areas where I think a low-end reseller can approach the National very differently than a traditional collector. A collector may walk into the show with a list of 5 to 10 specific cards. A higher-end dealer may be looking for slabs, autographs, low-numbered parallels, or cards they can quickly flip for hundreds of dollars. I'm looking for inventory. And more specifically, I'm looking for inventory created by everyone else's activity at the show. Breakers generally do not want to take every card from every break back home with them. They want the primary hits, the autographs, the low numbered parallels, the case hits, and the top rookies, and the most expensive stars. They can leave behind thousands of cards that are still desirable, but not valuable enough for that breaker to process individually. Those cards may be sold in bulk to another dealer. They may be added to dollar boxes. They may be placed into $2, $3, or $5 boxes. They may remain in unsorted boxes underneath a dealer's table. They may be mixed into larger wholesale lots just to clear space. And that is where opportunity begins. The fact that a card did not matter to a breaker doesn't mean it cannot matter to us. A breaker may not want to scan, identify, title, list, store, and ship a $4 card. But our entire business model is designed to do exactly that efficiently. So the goal is not to just search dealer boxes for random bargains. The goal is to identify the newer products most likely to be opened heavily, understand what their lower end cards look like, and know which of these cards have a realistic path into our inventory system. There are three main advantages to targeting recent releases. First, they're still attracting collector attention and search traffic. Second, their markets may not be completely settled yet. And third, dealers may not have had enough time to research every rookie, insert, parallel, or checklist before pricing their cards. That doesn't mean every new card is valuable. One of the biggest mistakes we can make is confusing newness with demand. A new common card with no collector following is still a common card. We need to be selective, but we also need to be prepared. Before getting into the individual products, I want to establish the buying system. I'm not planning to walk through the National and buy every shiny card from a release that came out in the last few months. Each card still needs to fit at least one identifiable sales path. That sales path might be an individual buy it now listing. It could be a player lot or a team lot. Could be a rookie lot, could be a prospect hold, or an insert set project. Or maybe lower priced inventory that fits our Lucky 7 promotion. When I find a box containing recent releases, I want to separate the cards mentally into four categories. Category 1 is immediate singles. These are cards I can reasonably scan and list after returning from the National. They include recognizable rookies, stars, refractors, identifiable parallels, numbered cards, and popular inserts. These are the easiest cards to evaluate because the listing path is obvious. Category 2 is lot inventory. One ordinary card may not justify a listing. 3 or 4 cards of the same player, team, rookie class, or insert set may create a worthwhile listing. This is especially important with flagship products and heavily broken chrome products. A dealer may see duplicates. I may see a ready-made player lot. Category 3 is developmental inventory. These are the prospects and young players whose cards may require more patience. I'm not buying them because I expect an immediate sale. I'm buying them because the acquisition price is low enough to wait for a future opportunity. That future opportunity may be a draft, promotion, a breakout season, or maybe a trade or first major professional release. Category 4 is promotional inventory. These are inexpensive cards that can support a multi-card promotion. They may not produce strong margins when sold alone, but they become useful when a buyer is building a 7-card order. That framework gives us reason to buy a card beyond simply saying it looked cool and it was only $1. My general acquisition target will remain disciplined. For an ordinary insert, secondary rookie, or basic refractor, I usually want to be around $1 or less. I can move toward $2 when I see a credible path to a $5, $6, or $8 listing. I can go higher when the card is numbered, the player is strong, the parallel is properly identified, or the pricing mistake is obvious. But I don't want to pay $2 for a card simply because it originally came out of a $300 hobby box. The original box price does not determine what the single is worth. The first product I expect to target aggressively is 2025 Topps Chrome Football. This product deserves attention for several reasons. It's a major licensed NFL release, it has strong brand recognition, it contains a large rookie checklist, and it includes the type of colorful chrome cards that often present well as low-dollar singles. This is exactly the type of release breakers should open heavily. The top autographs, low-numbered parallels, major rookies, and premium inserts will receive most of the attention. But a large checklist also creates a tremendous amount of secondary inventory. What I want to find is to first target rookie quarterbacks. Quarterbacks remain the easiest football players to identify and merchandise, even when they're not the most expensive rookies in the product. I'll also watch for skill position rookies with either current production or a clear path to increased playing time. Beyond rookies, I want established quarterbacks, MVP level stars, and Hall of Famers. Players who fit our GOAT category, popular team players and basic refractors, color parallels and numbered cards, and strong insert designs, and the insert names matter. A distinctive insert gives us more searchable listing language and may attract collectors who are building that specific set. I want to know what the major insert designs look like before I arrive so that I don't have to research every card while standing at a table. What I don't want is stacks of ordinary veteran base cards at $1 each. I don't want to buy every defensive rookie merely because the card has an RC logo. And I don't want to pay premiums for refractors or parallels that I can't confidently identify. Chrome products create the illusion of value because nearly every card looks premium. The question is not whether the card looks like it came from an expensive box. The question is actually whether there is a player, team, rookie, parallel, or insert collector who will want it. Now, the best opportunity may not be buying these cards one at a time. It may be finding a dealer with a large quantity of Topps Chrome Football leftovers and asking, did these come from your breaks? Do you have more rookies, inserts, or refractors that have not been put out? Do you have player or team stacks from this product? A breaker may have complete player stacks, team stacks, duplicate inserts, or unsorted refractors that can be purchased at much better price than the individual displayed cards. The next major target is 2026 Topps Series 2 Baseball. This is probably the strongest pure volume opportunity on the list. Flagship baseball gets opened by breakers, set builders, hobby shops, retail collectors, and individual collectors. That means there should be a tremendous amount of Series 2 inventory moving through the secondary market. The biggest rookies, short prints, autographs, and premium parallels will be pulled aside quickly. But the lower level rookies, inserts, stars, foils, and team cards may begin moving into value boxes almost immediately. I want to know the obvious rookies before I arrive, but I also want a second tier of rookies prepared. The opportunity will not usually be finding the number one rookie priced like a common. The opportunity may be finding a player who is already contributing, moving up the prospect lists, or gaining playing time, but has not yet become a hobby headline. The mistake would be buying every RC logo card. The RC logo provides a selling angle, but it does not automatically create demand. I still need to consider the player's current role, the organizational opportunity, the prospect reputation, and team popularity, and whether the player already has some more desirable cards in earlier products. I'm interested in recognizable insert sets, stars and major rookies, foil and color parallels, future stars, pitching themed inserts, and team specific cards, legends and retired stars, and cards that complement player inventory I already have. A lower end insert of a star may not look important to a breaker, but it may fit perfectly into a player lot, a team category, or a multi card promotional order. Series 2 may be more valuable as a lot building product than as pure singles product. Suppose I find 4 cards of the same rookie across a base card, an insert, a team card, and a parallel. That may create a more attractive listing than 4 separate low dollar cards. The same applies to team lots, rookie lots, pitcher lots, insert lots, and player stacks. And combined Series 1 and Series 2 collections. Flagship inventory gives us tremendous flexibility. I don't want to come home with thousands of ordinary veteran base cards unless the acquisition price is extremely low and there's a specific set building or lot building plan. Base cards of top stars can still be useful, especially in player lots and promotions. But a random common veteran base card is not automatically inventory just because it was released recently. The next product I'd be on the lookout for is 2026 Topps Finest Baseball. Finest is especially interesting because it uses a tiered base set structure. That creates both opportunity and risk. A dealer may place several finest cards into the same value box without fully accounting for the checklist tier. A common card and a rare or super rare card may look similar to someone moving quickly. That means checklist knowledge matters. Before the National, I want a saved checklist or reference guide that allows me to identify higher base tiers, refractors, numbered parallels, insert parallels, and any card whose scarcity is not obvious from the front. I want rookie cards from higher tiers, stars from the rare and super rare tiers, and those rookie refractors, numbered cards, and color matches. Visually strong inserts, popular veterans, and major pitchers. And cards that look strong in an eBay thumbnail. Finest can be useful to a low end seller because the cards present as premium inventory even at modest prices. A $5 Finest card may be more significant to a collector than a $5 paper base card. But Finest is also a product where every card looks important, and that can lead us to overpay. A colorful chromium design does not override a weak player, a high print run, or a lack of buyer demand. The checklist hierarchy has to be a part of the buying decision. I don't want to bring home a stack of common tier cards at $2 each because I mistook the design for scarcity. The next product is a little more specialized. 2026 Panini Prizm USA Stars and Stripes Baseball. This product fits naturally into the baseball prospects and pre-rookies category we have been developing in our store. It combines the USA Baseball prospect concept with the familiar Prizm parallel structure. That makes it visually appealing, but it also creates a checklist filled with players many dealers and collectors may not immediately recognize. That information gap can create opportunity. Breakers will likely focus on autographs, low numbered prisms, major collegiate names, and top draft prospects. And maybe some recognizable former USA baseball players as well. But the product will also produce large numbers of cards featuring players who are still early in their development. These cards may be treated as bulk because they're difficult to price quickly. I want to identify players recently selected in the MLB draft and players expected to become early selections in future drafts. Top collegiate performers, highly regarded high school players, and players from major college programs. Those Prizm parallels, numbered cards, and affordable autographs. And multiple cards featuring the same player. The key is not simply knowing the top prospect. Those cards will probably be priced correctly. The opportunity may be with the next 10 or 20 players, names with legitimate draft or prospect relevance who have not yet developed broad hobby recognition. This is not necessarily inventory I expect to sell immediately. Some cards may need to be listed or promoted around the MLB draft, maybe a college tournament or a prospect promotion. It could be a breakout season or a trade, or the release of a player's first major professional cards. The lower acquisition price needs to compensate us for that longer holding period. Prospect inventory can become a trap because every young player has a theoretical future. We can't treat possibility as probability. The more research a card requires and the longer it may need to sit, the less we should pay. A 25-cent prospect card can be an intelligent speculation. A $2 prospect card with no immediate buyer and no clear timeline may not be. Topps Chrome should receive most of our attention, but it won't be the only recent football product moving through dealer boxes. Secondary releases may also create opportunity, especially when breakers are chasing autographs and premium inserts. In those products, I want quarterbacks, skill position rookies, chrome or foil rookie parallels, short prints that may be misidentified, attractive inserts, and established stars, legends and team lots. But I need to be even more disciplined with a secondary release. Topps Chrome has brand recognition. A less established product may require a stronger card, player, or more distinctive insert to generate the same buyer interest. The card should not merely be new, it should have a recognizable reason to exist in someone's collection. Recent soccer products may also create a knowledge edge opportunity. Dealers may understand the obvious stars, but overlook young first team players and secondary rookies. some international prospects or club specific demand, and national team relevance and emerging players tied to major tournaments. I'm looking for global stars, major clubs, and young players already receiving meaningful playing time. Those recognizable rookies and refractors and color parallels, national team players, and cards that can be grouped by club or country. I don't want unknown youth players simply because they're young. And I don't want overproduced veteran base. I don't want to buy visual appeal without understanding the player. This is a category where preparation can create an advantage, but poor preparation can create a box full of names I can't confidently list. The final product category is recent non-sport and entertainment inventory. This includes products tied to names like Star Wars and Marvel, DC and Garbage Pail Kids, and even wrestling and other licensed entertainment properties. This category can be particularly attractive because dealer knowledge may be less consistent than it is in baseball and football. A baseball dealer probably knows the leading rookies in a new flagship release. That same dealer may not understand the difference in demand between Darth Vader and a background Star Wars character, or between a major Marvel hero and a minor checklist subject. I want major heroes, major villains, recognizable actors, main characters, and iconic designs, chrome or foil parallels, and numbered cards, character specific inserts, cards that fit categories we already maintain, and multiple cards that can become a character lot. The evergreen names matter here. Darth Vader doesn't need to have a strong season. Batman doesn't need to make the playoffs. A major entertainment character can maintain collector relevance without the performance volatility of an athlete. I don't want to buy cards solely because I recognize the franchise. A minor character in a massive checklist may still have almost no individual demand. The subject needs to be identifiable in the listing title, and there needs to be a realistic collector reason to purchase it. The value boxes are only the visible inventory. One of the most important parts of this strategy is asking better questions. When I see a dealer with a significant amount of recent release, I want to ask some questions. Did these come from breaks? Do you have more rookies, inserts, and refractors? Do you have any unsorted bulk from this product? Would you price a larger stack differently? Or do you have player or team stacks that have not been put out yet? Those questions may lead to inventory that has not already been searched by hundreds of collectors. It may also help the dealer solve a problem. They may want to clear some space, or they may not want to take cards home. They may have several thousand lower end cards that they have no intention of listing. And that doesn't mean we should automatically buy the entire quantity, but it gives us a chance to negotiate based on volume instead of paying the posted price one card at a time. The ideal arrangement is not necessarily finding one $8 card for $1. Maybe buying 50 cards for $25 or $30 and creating a mixture of individual listings, player lots, team lots, prospect holds, and promotional inventory. That is the volume and margin combination we're looking for. The first operational plan is about buying cards after someone else has already opened the product. But the second plan requires us to decide whether we should become the opener ourselves. The national redemption programs can make that decision more interesting. Qualifying purchases may earn national exclusive silver packs, and those packs have their own sealed resale value, as well as the possibility of producing autographs, numbered parallels, and other exclusive cards. But the presence of a redemption pack can also encourage bad decision making, can make an overpriced box look like a deal, can make an unsuitable product look like inventory. And it can turn a disciplined reseller into a wax gambler. So rather than spending this segment recommending specific boxes, I want to build a formula that can be applied to any qualifying product once we know the purchase price, the redemption requirements, the number of packs rewarded, the current sealed pack market, and the underlying product configuration. The redemption pack should improve the economics of a defensible purchase. It should not be used to defend a purchase that otherwise makes no sense. Before evaluating any redemption opportunity, I need to define the financial lane that I'm willing to operate in. For my business, I would rarely spend more than $300 on a sealed wax product. Most of the products I seriously consider fall between approximately $125 to $225. That matters because redemption opportunities can quickly pull a reseller outside their normal buying discipline. A product may earn more silver packs, but that doesn't automatically make it a better opportunity if it requires me to put up $400-$500 or more into a box that does not fit my normal acquisition strategy. My goal is not to maximize the number of redemption packs I receive. My goal is to find the strongest redemption efficiency inside a controlled investment range. My first filter is simple. Products between $125 to $225 receive the closest consideration. Products between $225 and $300 require stronger underlying inventory or unusually efficient redemption value. Products above $300 will usually be eliminated before I even begin the deeper analysis. There may be exceptions, but the redemption program should not be the excuse that pushes me into a level of wax spending that I would normally reject. The first number we need is the actual acquisition cost. That's not necessarily the MSRP. It's the price we will actually pay at the National. So let's use a hypothetical example. Suppose a qualifying hobby box costs $160. That is our starting cost. Now suppose that purchase earns 2 silver packs. We need to determine the realistic net value of those 2 packs. The important word is net. If the packs are selling for $35 each, we can't simply subtract $70 from the box price and declare that our effective cost is $90. If we sell the packs, we may pay marketplace fees, shipping, packaging costs, promotional fees, or other transaction expenses. The packs may also decline in value after a large number enter the market during National Week. So perhaps the realistic net recovery is closer to $28 per pack. 2 packs would then provide $56 in net redemption value. our adjusted product cost would be $104. That is a much more honest number than using the full $70 headline value. The basic formula then is actual box cost minus realistic net redemption pack value equals adjusted product cost. But that is only the first half of the calculation. We still need to determine whether the cards inside the box can reasonably recover the adjusted cost. Suppose one qualifying product costs $150 and earns 2 silver packs. If each pack has a realistic net resale value of $28, the total net redemption value is $56. The adjusted product cost becomes $94. Now, suppose another product costs $225 and earns 3 packs. 3 packs at $28 net each create $84 in estimated redemption value. The adjusted product cost becomes $141. The second box earns more packs and provides more total redemption value, but it still requires $75 more cash at the point of purchase. And the adjusted product cost is also higher. That means the underlying product needs to produce meaningfully better inventory. Now consider a $300 box earning 4 packs. 4 packs at $28 net creates $112 in redemption value. And the adjusted product cost now becomes $188. That may still be defensible, but the product now sits at the top of my normal risk tolerance. I would need strong checklist recognition, multiple sellable cards, and reasonable downside protection, plus efficient processing. The number of packs alone would not be enough. For every product, I want to ask, how much usable inventory and net redemption value am I receiving for every dollar of cash I have to commit? That matters because spending $300 on one box may prevent me from buying 2 lower priced qualifying boxes, or a better mixture of products, or dealer value box inventory, or cards with more predictable resale outcomes. The redemption decision has an opportunity cost. Every dollar placed in the wax is a dollar that can't be used elsewhere on the show floor. And that is especially important at the National, where I may find much safer inventory opportunities after I've already committed the money to wax. Here is where many redemption calculations break down. People look at the checklist and begin assigning value based on what the box could contain. But we should evaluate the box based on what an ordinary or disappointing box is likely to contain. Assume the autograph is weak. Assume the memorabilia card is a low demand player. Assume we don't pull a 1 of 1. And assume we don't pull the top rookie. What remains after that? Can the base cards, rookies, inserts, parallels, and secondary hits produce enough inventory to support the purchase? For a low-end reseller, I want a qualifying product to have several ways to recover value. It might offer recognizable base cards or sellable rookies. Could be attractive inserts and multiple parallels. or prospect inventory for team and player lot potential, and long tail cards suitable for buy it now listings. A box that produces only a few cards may still have tremendous upside, but it offers very little downside protection. And that makes it a premium hit chase rather than a low end inventory acquisition. Those are two very different strategies. We can also compare qualifying products by calculating redemption efficiency. The formula is net redemption value divided by actual box cost. Using that first hypothetical example, the box cost $160. The two packs provide an estimated $56 in net redemption value. 56 divided by 160 equals 35%. That means the redemption potentially offsets approximately 35% of the purchase price. Now compare that with a different box. Suppose another product costs $300 and earns 3 packs. At $28 net per pack, the redemption value is $84. 84 divided by 300 equals 28%. The second product earns more packs, but it provides less redemption value relative to the capital required. That doesn't automatically make the first box better. The $300 product may have much stronger underlying cards, but the efficiency rate gives us a useful way to compare products instead of assuming the box awarding the most packs is the best deal. After calculating redemption efficiency, I want to score the underlying product, and I would use 5 categories. The first category is recognizable subjects. Does the checklist contain athletes, teams, prospects, characters, or personalities we can confidently merchandise? The second is low-end singles potential. Can ordinary cards from the product become realistic $3, $5, $8, or $10 listings? The third is lot potential. Can weaker cards be grouped by player, team, rookie class, school, country, character, or insert set? 4 is downside protection. If the primary hit is poor, does meaningful inventory still remain? And 5 is processing efficiency. Can we research, scan, title, list, and store, and ship the cards without consuming more labor than the inventory is worth? Each category can be scored from 1 to 5. A product with strong redemption efficiency but a weak inventory score may still be a bad fit. A product with slightly lower redemption efficiency but excellent inventory compatibility could be the stronger purchase. My ideal product for this strategy would generally have a purchase price between $125 to $225, a meaningful silver pack allocation, recognizable players, prospects, teams, or characters, and multiple lower end listing opportunities. It would have useful parallels and inserts and lot building potential. reasonable downside protection, and a configuration that doesn't depend entirely on one autograph. A product closer to $300 would need to perform significantly better in several of those categories. The redemption program should improve the economics of a product within my normal acquisition range. Should not convince me to abandon that range. The goal is not the largest redemption haul. The goal here is the best combination of controlled cash exposure, net pack value, sellable underlying inventory, processing efficiency, and multiple paths to recovering the investment. Once we receive the silver packs, we have another decision to make. Do we sell them, open them, or use a hybrid approach? The first option is to sell the packs outright. Selling the packs sealed is the most predictable business strategy. It converts the redemption into a measurable recovery against the product cost. The advantage there is downside protection. The disadvantage is that we give up the possibility of pulling a major exclusive card. Option 2 is opening up the packs. Opening creates a much greater variance. We may pull a valuable autograph or a low-numbered parallel, a major player, or a card worth substantially more than the sealed pack. We may also open the pack and receive cards worth far less than we could have received by selling it sealed. Once the wrapper is opened, the sealed value is gone. That needs to be treated as an active choice. And the third option is using a hybrid strategy. Suppose a purchase produces 4 silver packs. We could sell 2 of those to recover part of the box cost and open 2 for upside, inventory, and content. And that may be the best balance for someone operating as both a reseller and a hobby content creator. But even then, I want to be honest about that accounting. The packs we open do not receive the sealed market value in our business calculation. They receive the actual value of the cards we pull. And that may not be very exciting. There is one additional factor that applies to our operation. Opening packs can create content. It can become a podcast segment or a YouTube video. It could be a social media post or a national recap, or a discussion about whether the redemption worked. That content has some value, but I don't want to use vague content value as an excuse for an otherwise poor purchase. If we open a silver pack because it makes the trip more enjoyable and gives us something interesting to discuss, that's valid. But that's an entertainment and marketing decision. It's not the same as saying the pack produced a positive financial return. Those categories should remain separate so we understand what actually happened. My final redemption plan comes down to several rules. Rule number 1 is never buy a bad box because it earns a silver pack. Rule number 2 is use the realistic net resale value of the packs, not just the highest recent comp. Rule number 3 is evaluate the underlying box as though the main hit will be disappointing, because most likely it will be. Rule number 4 is to include labor in the calculation. A box that produces 150 cards is not automatically better than one producing 50 cards if the additional 100 cards have no realistic sales path. Rule number 5, compare the redemption value to the amount of capital required. The most packs do not necessarily equal the greatest efficiency. And rule number 6, separate the business decision from the entertainment decision. We may choose to open some packs just because we enjoy opening them, but we should know what value we are giving up when we do it. And finally, rule number 7. The redemption should improve a product that already fits the business. It should not create the illusion that product fits. All right, folks, let's bring this episode in for a landing. I know we're going a little longer than normal, but deservedly so, as the National is the biggest sourcing event of the year. The National creates a tremendous amount of hobby activity. But I don't think a low-end card reseller has to compete directly with the biggest buyers in the room. We can build our own advantage by understanding what happens around that activity. As breakers open newly released products, they will pull out the biggest cards and begin moving the lower end inventory. Our first operational plan is to identify the products most likely to appear in dealer value boxes and know exactly what we want before we begin searching. That means understanding the rookie classes, the insert names, the parallel structures, checklist tiers, and the prospect names. And the cards that can become singles, lots, holds, or promotional inventory. The second operational plan begins when we consider buying qualifying wax ourselves. For my business, most serious sealed wax purchases will remain in that 125 to 225 range, and I'll rarely go above 300. The silver pack is not free value. It has an acquisition requirement, transaction costs, market risk, and an opportunity cost if we decide to open it. So we will evaluate each redemption opportunity using the same formula. We'll start with the actual box cost, we'll subtract the realistic net value of the redemption packs, and then determine whether the underlying cards can recover the remaining cost without requiring a major hit. The product only makes sense when we pull the best card in the box. It probably doesn't fit our low-end resale strategy. The goal at the National is not to come home with the most expensive cards or the largest pile of wax. The goal is to come home with inventory that fits our operation, provides enough margin to justify the work, and gives us multiple paths to make our money back. We're not trying to beat the high-end buyers at their game. We're looking for the opportunities their activity creates. And that is the plan for the National. I want to thank you all for joining us again today. No show next week. We're going to be busy coming home from the National and getting all of our inventory together from that sourcing event. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we'll plan to give you a little bit of an overview of how we did at the National this year. So until next time, I hope all of you continue to build your own so-called card life.